أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. One of the main favors Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us as humans is the gift of the mind. Being sane, being mindful, having understanding. This is the base of the trust that Allah has given us as human. And the people who don't have this, they're not responsible. Allah will not hold them responsible for their actions. People who have problems with their sanity, they're not responsible for their actions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said so, and this is the law of the land as well. The mind is the best of the gifts Allah gave us, and it's where the guidance has some effect. Islam needs someone sane, someone mindful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has repeatedly mentioned that in the Quran. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. He repeated this in many places of the Quran. There are signs for those who have understanding. Only those who have understanding will understand the verses of Allah and also will reflect on that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in referring to that, He has legislated to protect this mind, to respect it and to protect it. So anything that could have a negative impact on our minds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put some limit to it, or complete restrictions. Just like drugs and intoxicants. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given more details in that. He said everything that intoxicates is wine, is classified as wine. Everything that intoxicates is wine, and every wine is haram. Also, he said anything that could intoxicates in large quantities, consuming small quantity is haram. So even if a person does not get drunk, even little drink is haram. So it's not only getting drunk, it's the substance itself is prohibited from the beginning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said so. And the Prophet ﷺ has stressed that. To protect our minds, regardless of the nature of this drug. Some drugs will be provoking this mind, some will do the opposite. Regardless, both are prohibited. Anything that will impact this mind, will cause this mind to malfunction in a way or another, is prohibited. This is one point. The other point is, this mind, Allah has given people different levels of understanding. We're not all at the same level of understanding. We're not all at the same smartness level. Some of us has higher levels of understanding than others. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran referred to that. He said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Because understanding could increase with more knowledge. So people with knowledge could have more or better understanding. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inviting us to learn. This is why the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ. So knowledge comes through seeking education. So gaining more knowledge makes you in a better understanding position. And the better understanding we have, the closer to Allah we will get. The closer to understand the words of Allah and the guidance of Allah. This is one of the other indications that mind is so critical and important. And we need to feed this mind with proper knowledge. That is the food of mind that will help us have better understanding. That's why we get educated. That's why we seek knowledge. And what type of knowledge? Is it the knowledge that we get through social media and similar? Not exactly. That is scattered and shuffled, and sometimes it's full of corruption and noise. It's a proper knowledge. It's the knowledge that you get properly and the beneficial knowledge. And this is the knowledge that will help us in this life and when we leave to the hereafter. As the Prophet ﷺ, when we leave this world, we'll be disconnected completely except from one of three things. One of them is a knowledge that you left behind, a knowledge that people can benefit from, any knowledge that be beneficial. It could be any knowledge, religious, medical, engineering, statistics, math, astronomy, anything beneficial to the humanity you leave behind, people can benefit from, you get reward for that. And this knowledge is coming from proper understanding. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran also praised a class of people who is closest to Allah. And he said, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Those who truly and really fear Allah, the majority are the scholars. The real scholars are the people with knowledge, are the ones who really fear Allah and are closer to Allah. So that's why you find many of the scholars who are great believers and they are faithful. Also, seeking understanding is to mix with the people of knowledge, is to sit with them, is to mix with them and learn from them. As we mentioned in the verse, Allah is asking us to resort to the people of understanding to get fatwa, to get answers. So I need something, I have something in math, I'll go to mathematicians, I go to physicians, I go to doctors, I go to people of speciality who are well versed in that area to learn from them and ask them their opinion. And likewise in everything. And this is where the Prophet ﷺ is telling us to go and mix with the people with good understanding, who can have good impact on us. Like in the famous hadith that we mentioned before, مَثَلُ الْجَلِيسِ الصَّالِحِ وَالْجَلِيسِ السُّوءِ. The example of the good friend or the good company and the bad company is like the one who sells perfume and the blacksmith. So the one who sells perfume will benefit you in many different ways. And the blacksmith is more likely to hurt you in many different ways. Right? So your friends will have huge impact on you. And in Arabic we have a saying, a nice proverb that says, if you ask about the person, you are likely to get 50% of the facts. But if you ask about his or her friends, you're more likely to get 100% of that reality. And it's true. We often like to praise ourselves, to show ourselves as the best. But if you check my friends, you know whom I'm mixing with. You know who is like me and who are the people I'm associating with. It's more likely to tell you who I am. That's real. And even the Prophet ﷺ in that hadith is telling that your friends will tell who you are. So we need to seek good company and to sit with good people or people with good understanding. That's at all levels, by the way, at the individual level, even at the state and political level. You associate yourselves with good countries, good governments, and good people. You are more likely to reflect in you and your country and your communities. And this is where Muslim communities as individuals, as groups, is very important in the global level. We have a huge impact by just our behavior. We don't even have to talk. Whatever we have common in our life, in our communities, will have a huge impact on other nations and other communities. This is why we need to make sure we do reflect our faith on our actions. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us for all of that. In a nutshell, our minds is a great gift from Allah. We need to protect it. Protect it from anything that will have negative impact. Secondly is we need to nourish it. We need to feed it with good knowledge. And of course, the Quran is the best and the good knowledge. We need to seek it from its sources. We shouldn't rely only on scattered pieces of knowledge here and there. if you need to learn something, go and be best in that area. If you want to be in some profession, be on top of that profession. Be the best. Seek the best knowledge. Do your best to gain the best in that area and learn it properly. This is what's expected for believers, for Muslims. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to the straight path. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this land full of peace, and Syria and Palestine and Egypt and Yemen and all around the Rabb al-Alameen. Wa salli Allahumma wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.